Let's jump into the NBA though, Brett. We have 2 games on Monday. We have 2 games on Tuesday as well, and I like both of these games on Monday, Brett. The Bucks face off against the Nets. We saw what happened when James Harden left the game in game 1 early because of hamstring tightness. Apparently, he's going to be out for game 2. I don't think that matters for the Nets, though. I think the Nets are still going to get a win here. My prediction for this series, personally, is a 5-game series where the Nets come out of it. I think the Bucks will take 1, maybe 2, but I think both of those games will be in Milwaukee. Game 2 in Brooklyn with a line of only -1.5. Got to take Brooklyn here.
Yeah, Higgins, I am leaning Milwaukee. I'm leaning Milwaukee really hard. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, which is why I didn't want to give it out as a pick on the podcast. But the Nets have struggled without James Harden on the floor when it's just been Kyrie and Kevin Durant throughout the season. And even though I think Brooklyn's the better team in this spot, the Harden injury concerns me. But I've been concerned by a lot of injuries, and I've been proven wrong throughout the postseason. Chris Paul's injury concerned me in round 1. He advanced to round 2. Donovan Mitchell's injury concerned me in round 1. He advanced to round 2. Joel Embiid's injury concerns me. The Hawks did take game 1, but Embiid looked really good. So, maybe I'm just worried about injuries and I shouldn't be, Higgins.
Well, James Harden is the floor general for that Nets team, the guy that's getting double-digit assists pretty regularly, actually, so it's understandable to be a little apprehensive with him out because it means a lot more solo work for everyone else involved. But I also like the other game on Monday night, Brett, and that's the Denver Nuggets at the Phoenix Suns. This is game 1 of this series, a second-round series. I saw the Suns beat the Lakers and saw the Nuggets beat the Trailblazers. I like Denver in this scenario, even though they are without Jamal Murray, their premier guard, who would be facing off against Devin Booker in this scenario. Nikola Jokic, I think, is going to contain DeAndre Ayton, who played really well in that first series against the Lakers. Ayton was a big reason they were able to grab some of those mid-round victories, but I like Jokic to kind of calm down the young big man in Phoenix, and I think Denver's going to take this one. I'm actually so confident on that. I'm taking it on the money line at +175, not going with the spread at +5, which I still like. I'm just confident enough that the Nuggets are going to escape with game 1.
Yeah, I didn't really have a great feel on this one, Higgins. I think it's fair to say that the underdog's going to come out firing in this one, especially when they have the MVP on their team. But I have no idea. Phoenix impressed me in round 1. Denver impressed me round 1. I didn't think either of these teams were going to be here in round 2. So I'm going to back off of this series. I'm going to watch it as a fan and enjoy it. But I think it's definitely fair to say the MVP as an underdog can take the game.
Yeah, I like this Nuggets team even without Jamal Murray. And it's actually interesting if you take a look at the finals outrights now, Brett, now that we lost the Lakers and we lost some of those big ticket items. The Nets are the favorites at +160, but if you look at the bottom, the underdogs, it's the Hawks at +280 and dead last, followed by the Nuggets at +2500. That Nuggets pick, I might see some value there because if they're going through an injured Phoenix and play a strong game 1, who knows what they could do in the Western Conference Finals. I don't think that Denver team could necessarily beat Brooklyn team, especially if James Harden gets healthy again. But you never know.
Yeah, Higgins, there could definitely be some value there. I think to your point, we'd probably have to, think about the cash out option in the finals because if it's Brooklyn, I don't really see any chance of them beating Brooklyn. But, a team that might have a chance in beating Brooklyn, the Clippers or the Jazz, just because they're a little bit healthier than the Nuggets and the Suns. They meet up for game 1 on Tuesday night. Clippers are a +4, Utah -4 at home. But I'm on a different Tuesday night game, Higgins. I'm on Hawks Sixers. Atlanta game 1, excuse me. Not decisively, but by 4 points. They looked good on the road. Trae Young looked really good. like I mentioned earlier, I'm still concerned about Embiid's meniscus tear. Um, Not easy to play on a knee injury, especially as a big man, Higgins. So I am concerned whether he looked really good in game one or not, which he obviously did. I think Trey Young in the pick and roll has been such a problem this postseason, and I don't think that stops in game two. So I'm taking the 5 points. I could see Philadelphia winning this game. I would not advise taking Atlanta plus 180 on the money line. Philly's going to come back. They're going to make some adjustments. They're going to figure out what worked, what didn't, and try and focus on what worked. But I think Atlanta is definitely going to keep it close because they've got 3-point shooting and they've got the hottest player in the playoffs right now in Trey Young.
Yes, Trey Young, he has absolutely proven me wrong from what I said a couple episodes before the series against the Knicks began. I said Trey Young needed to prove it to me in terms of what he could do in the postseason because the last time he'd been in the postseason was in college. They lost the first round of the conference tournament, and they've lost the first round of March Madness. So I wanted to see it from Trey Young. He has obviously shown it. He took a bow at MSG on his way out. It'll be interesting to see what that meniscus tear is going to how that's going to impact Embiid though, because it's definitely affected the Sixers in the books. The Sixers are plus 1,200 odds right now, even in this series against the Hawks when they're down one game, and I think a large part of that is due to Embiid's injury.
Yeah, I mean, I ripped up the ticket as soon as it happened, Higgins, like metaphorically, because now it's all done online, but that instantly became a loss in my book.
This Clippers Jazz series, that should be an interesting one, absolutely, though. The Clippers fighting through a tough Game 7 with the Mavericks, and then the Jazz, they are going to be hosting that series, at least in Game 1 on Tuesday, so make sure to keep your eyes out for that one after the 76ers game.